Shimano internal seat post battery for a total cost of about $40. From what I've seen for the Shimano stock one, it's about 180 is probably the cheapest that I saw it on Wiggle. Here it is on Wiggle, 141. I was a little bit off. You still have to buy a mount though to make this fit. Also for later on, here's the cable I was talking about. You need to buy one of these if you don't already have a battery that you can cut the cable off. So this is what I've made. I've had it already undone my seat post. So I had it charging. It's all inside there. I'm going to show you from start to finish. I'm making another one for a friend, so you can see all of that. Comes out. This is my charger. Just a regular battery for an RC car. Just goes in there. That's it charging now. I'll leave that to charge. And I'll show you how I made it. This is the battery that I'm going to use. GT3777. Here it is on the JCar website, $34.95. I'll put this link in the description. It's a 7.4 volt battery. It's just made for like a remote control car or something, and it's actually 1,500 milliamp hours. The stock Shimano battery is 500 milliamp hours. So theoretically, this should get you 3 times the amount of shifting. Like I said, I bought it for $35. The only other thing I bought is some heat shrink that you're going to need, which I spent $5 to $10 on, and an extra bit of cable, which cost like $1 a meter. I've got a soldering iron, some solder, I've got a knife, some pliers and some scissors. Got this for shrinking some heat. Got my computer to listen to some jams, and kind of weird, but I used some baby oil, and I'll show you where I used that. It doesn't get creepy. One quick thing that you really need to make sure is the kind of battery that you're buying. This is the first battery I tried, which is no good, because what's inside it is actually, it's got a little circuit board which holds the batteries together, and it doesn't allow you to bend it and make it a straight, make the battery straight like that, so that it can slide inside your seat post without, I don't know, maybe being able, I'm not good enough to solder onto those tiny little terminals, so that was no good for me. This was a cheaper one. I ended up going back and buying this one, which, as you'll see as I cut this open, I've already made one of these today, so I know what's inside. Just open, you can see that it's actually 2 individually wired batteries, which have then been like put together with adhesive, and that's what we want, because that's what's going to allow you to open it up and have them straight. And then we'll do a bit of rewiring, and yeah, I'm going to show you. I'm just going to have a camera on. I'm going to do a time lapse of me making it. I'll stop at certain parts and explain the things I'm doing, and you'll see it at the end. So I've already taken the outside off, and I am going to get started. This is the bit. Slowly break these apart, and then folding this in half. This is where I'm gonna try really hard not to break any of this. Good. This one's a little bit stiffer than the last one, but that's okay. Okay. There it is. That's basically the start. And now the rest of it is just going to be bringing the wires all up so that they all fit and match. So the first thing I am going to do is cut this one here, because these two are long enough. You can see that I'll be able to stretch it out towards this side. All my cable are going to be coming out of this side, so this red one here. That's where that is going to end up. Coming out there that way. And this one. So I'm going to take a piece of the red, I'm going to strip either end, and this is the piece that I'm going to use to now lengthen this. This is your charging port. Grab a couple of bits of heat shrink and slide them on before you solder it up. So you want to slide your heat shrink on over those two parts, bulk your ladder, shrink it up. You can use tape as well. I just find that heat shrink just gives you a much neater finish, and I like it to be neat, so that's what I'm going to use. Alright, so that's the first bit done that we've extended. So now that's where you're going to be able to use your charger. The next bit that I'm going to extend is now the positive terminal from the bottom to bring it up to out here. So same again, I'm going to cut it here. Just make sure, really make sure that you don't let your positive and your neutral terminals touch or make any connection. You blow up your battery, you're gonna have to go buy another one. So I tend to do the whole connection, shrink it up when I'm working with the positive, and then I'll cut back and strip the negative and start using that once the positive's all covered up. I'm just going to use this whole long bit of cable because I'm going to install this in someone's bike tomorrow, and I don't know how much they have. Basically, at the end, you'll see when I get there, but it'll just be these two terminals left on the end, and then what I will do is cut the cable coming off the battery for unfortunately I can't show you that because it's inside my bike, but the cable that comes off the original battery that comes with your Di2, you just cut that. Inside it, there'll be 2 black wires and 2 red wires. I stripped the 2 black ones and I put them together, and then I stripped the 2 red ones and I put them together. That's your positive and your neutral, that's all that's inside there. And then I soldered them up to the positive and the neutral that'll be going to this battery. Don't forget the heat shrink again. shrink it up, or tape, whatever you're using. Up here at the top is where my negative is going to connect. I've got red and white here, you have red and black, whatever, just as long as you know what's what. Just try and make everything nice, make it line up. Slide a bit of heat shrink on again. Slide it like as far away from where you're soldering as you can, because it tends to shrink at the end closest to the heat if you just leave this sitting there, and then you'll find you won't be able to move it afterwards, and then it's a real pain in the ass. So just get it down as far away as you can and try to be pretty quick with your soldering. Now what we have is the basis of everything you can see here. I've extended where our charging terminal is now long enough that it's outside of here. I've extended the positive and the negative, and then all we have now is this long piece here, which will be going down inside your bike, down to the junction box, where on this end, what I'll do tomorrow when I go to and install this on the bike is I will cut this to length. I'll get the person's original battery, and which will be the red labeled cable coming off the battery, and I'll cut that. I'll take my soldering iron, I'll take some solder, and I will join the positive to the two positive cables that are inside the original Shimano cable, and I will join the negative to the two negatives that are inside that cable. It will make your current battery useless, which if you don't want to do that, you can buy the original cables. I think they're only about $25. I had no intention of using the old battery again. I bought a frame that didn't have anywhere to mount that battery anyway, so I wasn't going to be using it. And the only reason I had the original battery was because I bought a secondhand group set. So I had a battery that I wasn't really using. If you don't have a battery that you're going to use, then you would have to buy the original. I think they're called an E-tube cable. I've seen them on Wiggle for like $23 to $25. Just make sure that you buy the right one if you've got 7970, or if you've got the newer Duros Di2, the cables are different from what I understand. So now to finish this up, what I'm going to do is just test everything first. So I will tape up my end here. Okay, so that's where I'm going to make my connection tomorrow. My battery is finished charging, so I'll take this off charge. Got my charger here. Now what we're hoping for is a green light. That means I did everything right. There we go, red light, sorry. Red light means charging, green light means fully charged, which obviously it wouldn't be, it's brand new. So we've got the red light, we are charging, we've got terminals, we've got good connections. Now it's ready for me to shrink the whole thing up and make it look nice, and then I'll leave it to charge overnight. One little thing that I did, see how in here, I don't know if that would eventually wear down and break, but I don't like that. So what I did was I got a piece of paper and I just folded it a bunch of times and I jammed it in that gap, and then it just made it a bit more solid. So I'm just going to get a piece of paper, fold this in four, and try like that. good like that. Cool. So now I'm just going to tape these cables up, make it neat. That's even without the paper, that's already quite firm now, but I still am going to put it in. If you're worried about adding weight on the climbs, maybe you should go vegan and drop a bit of weight around your gut. Alright, now I am gonna slide the shrink on. This can be a little bit fiddly. This was the biggest heat shrink that they had at the shop, and I could have used one size bigger. Alright, so that is almost done. Now we shrink it up. I want to make sure that you really shrink it all down, because as you will find, putting this inside your seat post can get stuck a little. I actually, when I was installing mine, there was a bit that kind of bubbled up and got caught, and I went back and shrunk it down some more. And if you're using tape, don't go completely ballistic on the tape, because it won't fit inside your seat post, just enough tape. And that'll do. That's why it's going to help if you just did it neat from the start. You won't need too much tape. Trim it down. On this end, I just threw a wrap of tape around it. That is it. As you can see, finished job, pretty neat. I'm into it. Looks pretty good, and it's all ready to go for me tomorrow to wire that in for a finished product. You can see on my bike where it's already hardwired in down to the junction box, which is down sitting just above my bottom bracket, but this is the end of it where it's inside, and this is where the baby oil came in. It was quite a tight fit, and I used a bit of baby oil, lubed him up, and made it happen, and got it in there. And now you can see it's pretty, it's not coming out of there. So this one is charged up, ready to ride. Poke him down in there a little bit. Bit of extra cable, so good. Tighten that up, put a bit of torque on there, and let's just have a quick look. Green light means we got full charge, we're ready to go. Here's a finished product that's going to be going on the bike. My bike's already got one inside it right now. I've got full charge. This should give 3 times whatever Shimano claim that their one does. I mean, I haven't ridden it yet, so I'll keep you posted, and maybe first time it goes flat, I'll let you guys know. Obviously, it's going to be quite a few months from now until that goes flat. It is winter here, so I am doing a lot of running because I get warmer faster and I don't really like being cold. If you have any questions, post them down below. Yeah, that's it. Shimano internal seat post battery for a total cost of about $40. Thank you.